Hi, Nikki from the Chamber. Welcome to another Petoskey Strong update. With me, I have Chris Parker, Superintendent of the Public Schools of Petoskey. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, Nikki. How are you?
I'm great. And are you remote working, I see?
I am working from home this morning, so we do have the essential designation. I've been in the office most days. In fact, today's the first day that I'm trying to work from home. Thought I'd see what it was like, and it's pretty nice.
Oh, good. That's how you have to start every Zoom call, by the way, either addressing the animals in your house or addressing where you're working from. So I've noticed that lately.
Yeah, my dog popped her head up into the meeting earlier this morning that I was on, so that was kind of nice. Fortunately, there were dog fans on the meeting, so it was okay.
That's good. Nobody else. I think we're all very forgiving now. I really do. We've learned that you kind of have to be.
And we're learning a lot about each other that we didn't normally do when we were just working in the office too, which I think is, mostly good.
I think it is too. I do like the funny thing that I've learned is I've had meetings where people text me after and go, "So who are the pictures on the wall?" I'm like, "Really? You were doing that during the meeting?" Yeah, weren't you? So it's been interesting to say the least. And I mean, we're adapting obviously as adults.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and wow, our kids are adapting, aren't they?
They are, and it's so, yeah, I don't know. As an educator, I always think that the kids kind of lead the way anyway. They always kind of help us to break down some of our traditional ways of thinking. And but yeah, my kids right now are in their Google classrooms. Today, science and social studies for one, and the other one's in high school, so he's taking care of his work. But yeah, they're adaptable and flexible, and certainly there are some loss here that they're dealing with, but I think
Mhm.
overall they're dealing with it really well. And when you lose your spring season or your senior season of your spring sport,
Yeah.
um, that's not insignificant.
Mm-mm.
And but I would say for the most part, parents that I've talked to, students that I've communicated with, like people are really pulling together. Petoskey's an amazing community. Like it's just I don't know that this happens this well anywhere else, but the people here really are supportive. So it's
Yeah.
great.
They are. I mean, it's we keep saying over and over again, Petoskey strong, and we are.
Mhm.
We always have been. This isn't anything new. So it's great to see that. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about maybe parents aren't getting everything in their email or their inbox and might have some questions, and the community should know as well. What does this remote process look like for Petoskey students?
Yeah, so our remote learning process began officially yesterday, although teachers have been really staying in contact, many of them since the closure began in mid-March. So there's a online set of resources that each teacher puts up in a learning management system or like a Google Classroom. And parents and students can log in and check out the work, and the students can then work on those assignments, upload those into the Google Classroom where the teacher can take a look at what they did and provide feedback and give the student an opportunity to refine that work a little bit, or they receive final feedback and then they move on to the next assignment. For our parents and students who don't have access to an internet environment, what we've said is we're collecting that information and then we will mail them packets. So whatever's offered in the Google Classroom will then be mailed home and you'll just receive it in your mailbox. To address some of the issues about transmission and things like that through the mail, if you do your packet at home, then we're just going to ask for a conversation with your teacher or a picture of the work being completed to be sent back.
That's a lot of work that you had to pull together in a short amount of time. As a parent with a child in Petoskey schools, I will say thank you. And I
Sure.
have spoken to my son's teachers and said thank you because I think it's incredible. And all the boxes are being checked as far as making sure we know we're rural. We know not everybody has internet or has the capability or has the actual tools with which to do this. So there's a lot of appreciation that goes into that kind of planning. On the line of service too, there are some options for those who maybe don't have internet in their home, but they have the tools with which to log into a Google Classroom, correct? We saw
Yeah,
Stream did something.
Yeah, TrueStream has helped out, and they said, we're going to make this more available to families in the area. And so throughout the whole ISD, they've added Wi-Fi hotspots. I think they said they get about 100 yards of range. And so if you go to one of those locations, the closest one that will, I think, impact most of our students is at the Click Road soccer fields. And then there's one further north, or a few north in Harbor as well, and one in Boyne City. So yeah, you could drive in, you could continue to socially, stay distant, and get your work done in the car for a little while, and then head back to the house. So really, really a great offering of them, and another example of being in Petoskey in this area, like people stepping up and doing the thing that's maybe not the best for their bottom line, but certainly the best for our community. And I can't thank them enough.
Yeah, I absolutely agreed. It's a wonderful thing that they've done. When you guys look forward as educators to how this will impact maybe the future, we talked a little bit about this, that return to class next year, but maybe some new techniques and availabilities. It was pushed on everybody so fast, and something that maybe would have been worked for years to come is now readily available.
Yeah. So this learning management system, and there's so much, and I think that it really comes back to start with the work that, and you mentioned it earlier, that people have done to get this remote learning plan up and running. Carla Akins put an enormous amount of work into a big lift to get this moving. Lauren Ringel from our special ed program, Howard Bates and his team from technology, and then all the principals and teachers and department leaders and our media specialists and computer lab everybody. It just has been so great to see. I haven't heard one person say no. I haven't had one person say no way, we're not doing it. There've been some I'm not sure how to do that, and we've been able to connect them then with people who do. But it's really energizing to see them say yeah, we can do this. So what we don't want to do, we want to be very intentional to say when we go back to school, we don't want to forget about all this. So there's benefit to the learning management system. There's a lot of benefit to being able to log in and see what your child has done, what feedback they've received, how they adjusted and modified, how they respond. That, to me as a parent, is much more valuable than logging into Power School on my phone and going what, you got an E, what does that even mean?
What is this?
And usually what it means is,
I got a Power School alert today,
Yeah. And so you're not going anywhere this weekend, and you find out that it was this society. It's so I would much rather be able to check out the learning management system, go into Google Classroom. So I don't think we want to give that up when we come back. I think there are a lot of great things that our staff has shown that they're able to do, and we want to continue to leverage that for students' benefit going forward.
Agreed, definitely. As a parent, I can say that it works really well. And, for those in the community that, don't have children, but support, obviously, the schools through, living and working here, and then as well as want to be good, strong, Petoskey strong community members, giving shout outs to teachers right now, reminding yourself that your senior year was important, and think of our seniors and our students, and that has to be difficult still for a lot of parents. And it's I think a lot of the kids are handling it better than the parents are. Point for those 2020 graduates. And I know that there was mention earlier that it doesn't mean nothing. It just means we don't know what that's going to look like yet. Am I correct on that?
Right. Yeah, the second we can get kids back together and parents back together and do so safely, we'll definitely do something to recognize the accomplishments. We want to do that just as much as they do. Graduation and commencement is like the Super Bowl for teachers. I mean, it's a really big deal. This is what it is the day. It is the day for educators, as well as for kids and parents. And so, as soon as it's safe to do so, we'll do that. I don't know what that looks like right now.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, obviously, nobody can predict what that will look like when. And in our better normal, as you said, I said new normal, you said better normal, and I liked that. So I think that that's a great thing for the community to think of too going forward, is when those plans come forward to recognize these students and our educators as well. The community can gather and help and put their part in then as too. So we talked a little bit about that. There's a couple things just released, executive order released yesterday and another one late last week that relate to education from Governor Whitmer's office, and watching those in Lansing. So that's got to be tough, keeping an eye on those things. Funding for one and food funding for a second. So those are big things that hopefully will impact us a little bit, correct?
Yeah, so a lot changes in a day, as it does for
Yes.
you and for a lot of us right now. And so there has been some federal money that will be has been approved to come to Michigan. I think it was $89 million. They haven't yet released rules or clarifications around what that's going to support. So we'll wait for that. What we are doing as a district is just keeping track and monitoring all of our COVID-related expenses. So the food and the delivery of the food and staffing and all of those related costs now to support that critical workforce. Now we're just keeping track, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, to the degree that we can, we want to charge as much of this as possible to the federal dollars to limit the impact that we have on our general fund budget.
Exactly.
As you know, the outlook for next year's general budget in the state of Michigan, as elsewhere, is pretty bleak. And we feel that pretty strongly in the school aid fund as well. So we're preparing. We got the remote learning plan and all those types of things. Like in my head, I'm thinking about what is our budget going to look like, and when is the budget going to be done, and what does that mean for us in terms of how we can support kids going forward.
Yeah, and that's where things like that, when we see them come across, that there could be federal funding for our area in any way, shape, or form is so important. Fingers crossed. And now you do the wait and listen. You guys have done a great job too. Before we wrap this up, speaking of the food fund that came out, we were talking, there's an EBT card system that could be in place as well from a federal standpoint. But locally, you guys jumped on the feeding of students in need immediately from the first shutdown. And that challenge, and then along with other agencies and individual businesses and organizations, talk about Petoskey Strong. Wow. That was incredible.
Pulled together like within a day or two. Again, it's the people, it's the community. They understand what they're doing. They understand why, and it's all around kids and all around this community. So, our kitchen staff hasn't batted an eye. They come in, they're cranking out 300 breakfast meals and 300 lunch meals, and every 3 times a week. And you just go like, oh, that's incredible. Our bus drivers have been delivering. McLean and Eakin partnered with us early on when we were passing out books along with those meals. We've had to back off a little on the passing it out because of some of the restrictions, but we'll be back, and we still have the books. Good. And we'd love to get those in the hands of kids. But all of these things that have happened, it's just, you think that there's no way. In fact, 1 year ago today, I got the job here in Petoskey, and I think about if you would have said then, hey, a year from now, you're going to be the only person reporting to work in the whole district, and you're going to be doing this interview where you talk about schools being closed for there's no reference point, and yet people have stepped up. Yeah. And there's no teacher evaluation for the rest of the year, and the media, the folks would have said like, well, unless you could really hammer teachers, they're not going to do the work. And what we've seen is exactly the opposite. We've seen people really rise to the occasion. They love kids. They love their jobs. They're professionals. They're learning new things all the time. There are so many good things. I know there are really bad things, and I don't minimize that at all. But holy cow, to negate some of the positive things for us would really be a shame. And so we want to celebrate those really good things as well.
That's what this is all about. That's absolutely why I wanted to talk to you too, is because we know we're facing a crisis unlike anything we've ever seen on every level of our entire community, state, country. but there is so much good in the same way, and we need to look at that and celebrate that. So congratulations on that 1-year anniversary, by the way. I know
Thank you.
soon.
Yeah, April 15th.
There you go.
Yeah.
If you made it this far, you know, you can keep going. We expect now. I appreciate it. Really, thank you for taking the time, Chris. And obviously, as always, people have questions. They can contact their students' teachers. They can obviously visit your website. We have links on our website. I'll post some of those as well. And stay safe, stay Petoskey strong, and please pass along our thanks from the community to all of the educators in the district. We really appreciate everything you're doing.
All right. Thanks.